This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It's 5 o'clock here on your Friday morning. Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Griffin.
Nicole, good morning to you, and I'm Rafael Sanchez. Here's what's making news right now on this Friday, July the 3rd. Marion County will soon be under new restrictions for COVID-19, including mandatory masks. Working for you, what you need to know about the mayor's latest actions to stop the spread.
COVID-19 cases across the U.S. continue to surge at a record rate. The latest warnings from health officials ahead of this holiday weekend.
And you know, many look forward to fireworks on the 4th of July, but there won't be as many public displays this year because of the pandemic. What you need to know to stay safe if you plan to put on your own light show in your neighborhood. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Friday, July the 3rd. It's great to be with you. I'm Rafael Sanchez, Nicole Griffin sitting in for our good friend, Lauren Casey, who's hopefully sleeping in. And Nicole, the best thing about working from home, Todd will tell you, is that you can have a cold beverage in your coffee cup to begin the morning.
And you're going to need that cold beverage this weekend.
Yeah, you know, it just depends what's inside the coffee cup. You just said it was a coffee cup, Raphael. You didn't tell us what was inside that cup. But, yeah, cold beverage, preferably water here over the course of the weekend. I know people were taking some other things, but make sure you stay hydrated. That's something you're definitely going to have handy throughout the course of the weekend and really beyond. Sunglasses, sunscreen, also the other necessities that you'll need throughout the course of this holiday weekend with high temperatures that'll be up in the 90s. We're in the 60s and 70s this morning. 69 in Indy, 65 in Bloomington. Skies are mainly clear. The clouds are all off to our west. And as we work our way throughout the course of the day today, nothing but sunshine with high temperatures climbing all the way up into the low 90s. We are talking about high temperatures that are going to be in the 90s at least for about 7 to maybe even 10 consecutive days here as we push into next week as well. We'll talk more about that forecast for you coming up in just a little bit.
Todd, thank you. We're taking a live look outside as we keep an eye on your traffic this morning for your morning commute. This is a live look at our INDOT traffic camera at I-65 at 21st Street. No cars right now in this shot. So if you're heading out the door, there's a few right there. If you're heading out the door, no delays for your morning commute.
The Marion County Public Health Department will be requiring face coverings for residents when they are out in public.
The mayor of Indianapolis announcing a big step to slow down the spread of COVID-19, making masks mandatory in the Circle City. That's all beginning, Nicole, July the 9th. You'll be required to wear a face mask in public around Indianapolis as well as Marion County.
Mayor Hogsett issued the change in an executive order saying people ages 3 and older must use a mask unless a medical condition prevents you from wearing one. And that includes inside retail and office buildings and outside when social distancing is not possible. Marion County Health Director Dr. Virginia Kane says the rule will be enforced.
As always, you will still have individuals who are concerned about their civil and independent rights that will not want to comply. And for those individuals, we will be looking to fine, whether it's an individual or a business, provide fines for them in order to help address compliance.
Now, if you are outside alone in an area where you can be socially distant, you don't have to wear a mask, and that also includes while you are exercising and, of course, when you are eating. If you do not have a mask, there are free ones available at the Julia M. Carson Transit Center in downtown Indianapolis. You can pick one up from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday and from 9 to noon on Saturday while supplies last. You can also sign up for free face coverings at indy.gov/masks.
And the mayor also making some additional changes to the counties before the reopening will include the following new restrictions and as well as new expansions, extending the temporary closures on Mass Avenue, Broad Ripple Avenue, and Georgia Street for outdoor dining all the way through July the 19th. Indoor areas of assisted living facilities and nursing homes in Marion County will remain closed to visitors, and any event with more than 1,000 people has to submit a public health plan and get approval from the Marion County Health Department. Doctors at IU Health are helping transplant patients who are at high risk of COVID-19 stay safe by urging people around them to please wear a mask. They made these shirts for patients that read, "Please stay back or wear a mask, transplant patient hard at work." You see, Nikki Foster, she's a double lung transplant patient, was excited to get one and says people really took notice.
I'll see people read it and then they'll kind of like back up if they're not wearing a mask. Or I've also had people come up to me and say, "Oh, you're a transplant recipient, so am I."
Foster says she hopes the message gets people thinking about wearing a mask that can potentially save many lives. Nicole?
More than 46,000 people in Indiana have tested positive for COVID-19, and the state is seeing a rise in new daily cases. The latest numbers from the State Department of Health show 453 new cases, which is 82 more than Wednesday's count. 13 new deaths were also reported, bringing the death toll to 2,469. Nearly 497,000 Hoosiers have been tested so far for the virus. The CDC is now forecasting up to 160,000 deaths in the U.S. by July 25th. That's only 3 weeks away. In a late-night tweet, President Trump once again argued that new cases are rising at a record rate because we're ramping up testing. The president's own testing czar said Thursday that it's not just testing, but also an increase in the infection rate that's driving this record surge. And it's young people who are spreading the virus. ABC's Kenneth Moten has the latest.
This morning, hospitals across the country are bracing for the 4th of July.
It makes me really nervous. I know after the 4th that we could potentially see another surge.
If things don't change and people don't take it a little more serious in the next 2 weeks, who knows where we will be.
Huge crowds and holiday parties threatening to set off a new surge of coronavirus infections, even as the nation's top doctor warns the U.S. is already at risk of losing control.
It's quite disturbing. And we're setting records practically every day of new cases. That clearly is not the right direction.
Hospitals in Arizona are struggling with a surge of patients. And in Texas, cities are closing beaches in hopes of controlling crowds. The governor reversing course, now mandating masks after 1/3 of the state reported a record number of new cases Thursday.
COVID-19 is not going away. In fact, it's getting worse. Now more than ever, action by everyone is needed.
Houston now reporting 1 in 5 COVID-19 tests are coming back positive. Some ICUs have hit full capacity. Meanwhile, in Missouri's Lake of the Ozarks, where Memorial Day pool parties made national headlines due to the lack of social distancing, authorities are trying to prepare for record crowds this weekend. While Washington State is now allowing businesses to refuse service to anyone not wearing a face covering. And in West Hollywood, no mask will now cost you $300. It comes as California reports nearly 10,000 new cases in just 24 hours. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, New York.
The time now is 5:08 here on Good Morning Indiana. The 4th of July weekend, Nicole, is a time when fire departments around the state and the country tend to get a lot of calls about firework injuries.
Yeah, and we want you to stay safe this holiday weekend. That is why our Alyssa Donovan is live this morning talking to experts. Alyssa, good morning.
Good morning, Nicole and Raphael. And you know what? A lot of those local shows have been canceled, so a lot more people are going to those consumer fireworks stands, buying these retail. And I'm here with Tim Griffin with Carmel Fire Department. He's going to show us some of those main items that can be dangerous during this time of year.
Exactly. So, one of the things that's one of the most dangerous fireworks, and people probably don't realize it, the most injuries come from sparklers. And, you think about it, we hand these to our kids, they write their name in the air with them, and one of the problems is they burn at 1,500 degrees. So if you are going to use sparklers, really it's for adults. And if not, you also need to have a bucket of water. You can put those in because they can be extremely dangerous. Something we suggest instead is using glow sticks. They can still write their name, they're safe. We always do suggest go to the shows, and I know this year that's a little harder. So if you're having a show in your area, go to it. Make sure you're social distancing and being safe that way. But another thing you have to make sure is if you're going to do fireworks, they're for adults. And when you go, I went to AAA Fireworks, I talked to them, they gave me explanations of what all of our fireworks are going to do. And that's something, that you can do is educate yourself on what you're going to be doing. So we've got a sparkler. Like I said, we have these for kids. And as it starts going, we'll just kind of show as I just barely lay that against a shirt at all. You can start to see just how easily the shirt can start to singe or burn. And so that's just something simple. And then also, we talked about for kids, and we've got, and watch out because this will shower. You know, a lot of times they may think it's just a sparkler, but as you can see, we'll start to light this. It looks like a lot of fun for a kid. They're gonna want to swing this sword around, but you have a bunch of little kids that are sitting here and it starts to shoot out, right? And so again, we have little kids around and we can see how easily that any of these things can start to catch or burn and be unsafe for little kids. So you have to make sure that it's for adults, you're playing it safe, because the last thing you want to do is on this holiday weekend have it end in tragedy. You know, you want to make sure that you're having fun and you end on a good note. 2020 has seen enough tragedy, so we want to make sure this 4th of July weekend ends happy with your family and hopefully in a good celebration.
That's right. Thank you so much, Tim. Some very important tips to remember as you're heading out to buy those fireworks, or if you're planning to do them in your backyard. We'll have a lot more tips coming up in the next half hour. For now, I'll send it back to you in studio.
It's been 5 months since the shooting death of Stephen Jamel, but the case remains unsolved. Coming up on Good Morning Indiana, what his family and friends are now doing to try and find answers.
And we'll get to Todd in a moment, but it'll be a busy weekend as well at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with not just 1 or 2, but 3 races. How one driver is using the IndyCar race to help Indianapolis food pantries. That and much more, and Todd Clausen's forecast coming up right here on Good Morning Indiana.
Central on ABC.
My favorite show.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Desperate for justice, family and friends are offering thousands of dollars in reward money for information in a deadly shooting.
The fact that we don't even know what happened is the hardest thing. We don't know what happened or why. And yeah, knowing who did it would bring a lot of closure.
Kathleen Roberts and Stephen Jamel were in a long-term relationship and lived together on the west side of Indianapolis. Their home on Rockville Road is where someone shot and killed Stephen 5 months ago. Investigators released surveillance pictures of the suspect's vehicle, but there was still no arrest in this case. Kathleen hopes by sharing her story, someone will speak up.
Somebody knows something, and if you think about it this way, if you don't want to say something because you're afraid of someone you love getting in trouble, at least you can still go visit them. He's gone. We can't go see him in jail. We can't talk to him. He can't be a father anymore. And it's not fair.
Loved ones are offering a $10,000 reward for any information that leads to an arrest or conviction in this case. You can report information to the IMPD Homicide Office at 317-327-3475.
The time now is 5:16 here on Good Morning Indiana, and Ghislaine Maxwell, the former girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein, who is now facing federal criminal charges in connection to Epstein's alleged sex trafficking ring. Here are the details this morning. FBI agents arrested Maxwell in New Hampshire yesterday as she's being charged with 6 counts in connection to the Epstein investigation, including enticement and conspiracy to transport minors for illegal sex acts. According to the indictment, the victims included girls as young as 14 years old. Maxwell has previously denied any wrongdoing. Epstein was facing charges when he committed suicide in a jail last August. McDonald's is now hitting the pause on its plan to reopen during all of its dining rooms during this pandemic. The chain had already reopened dining spaces in 15% of its locations, but says the rest will have to wait for another 3 weeks. Nearly all McDonald's restaurants are still open for delivery, drive-through, and takeout. Company officials say they will continue to monitor the situation and adjust as needed. Time to check your forecast. Todd Clausen, a great day for ice cream, or better yet, a great day just to sit on a block of ice. It's going to be so hot.
Yeah, you know, your ice cream is going to melt really, really fast, Raphael. You're going to have to eat that pretty quick. But yeah, just anything you can do to stay cool today and really in the coming days is what you're going to have to do. So as we look ahead to your holiday weekend headlines here, it's going to feature a lot of heat. And it's not only going to be just for this weekend, it's going to continue all the way throughout much of next week as well. Heat index values are going to be near 100 at times as the high temperatures climb up into the low 90s. And as far as any rain chances go, there are some rain chances in the forecast, but they're very, very small or slim rain chances going forward. Don't bank on a lot of rain in your neighborhood over the course of the next week or so. So you're definitely going to have to water the flowers and plants and trees here over the course of the next 7 to 10 days. We're in the 60s and 70s across the area. 65 in Bloomington, 69 in Indianapolis, 68 is the current temperature in Richmond. Throughout the day today, we are going to see our temperatures warm extremely quick. We'll already be at about 87 degrees by the noon hour with high temperatures that'll climb up into the low 90s. In fact, anytime after about 3 o'clock, highs across most of the area should be in the 90s. So it's going to be a very hot stretch of weather for us, and it's going to be pretty bright. Now, there's a little bit of cloud cover that you see on your satellite radar picture here this morning, but that will fade away very quickly once the sun comes up. We'll burn that off, and we'll be left with that hazy sunshine. The better storm chances are off to our west that you see, and this is going to be where the better storm chances are not only this morning, but going forward in this forecast over the course of the next couple days. There's going to be more activity west of Indiana than there is going to be here in central Indiana, which is great news if you do have outdoor plans. Now, this evening, still right around 90 degrees at 7 p.m. Still a northeasterly wind, and I point that out because once the sun starts to set, the humidity is going to be on the lower side today. You'll notice it a little bit, but it's not going to be extremely high, and temperatures will be in the 80s. So I do think it gets somewhat comfortable later on this evening as we get closer to sunset, which is at 9:17. Now, as we go into tomorrow, I want to point out there's going to be a full moon Saturday night into Sunday, and it's called the full buck moon, and that's because this is the time of the year when the deer start to get their antlers. They start poking through on their foreheads. But there's also going to be a partial lunar eclipse that is going to take place as well when the Earth's going to cast its shadow on part of the moon. It's not a full lunar eclipse, but if you don't have any fireworks displays and you're into astronomy and some celestial things, you may want to check that out as well. Otherwise, your weekend forecast is going to feature a lot of heat. There's about a 20% chance of an isolated storm in the forecast on Saturday, and that is just about it. As we get into Sunday, 93 degrees. If you do have outdoor plans, I really wouldn't worry about that storm chance on Saturday at all. If you did see it, you'd be very, very unlucky, but there is just going to be that potential there. Here's your next 7 days, and it is going to be a hot stretch of weather. 90 straight across the board. The hottest day is Monday at 94 degrees. The wettest day potentially is going to be Tuesday of next week when the storms could become a little more numerous. Otherwise, lots of hazy sunshine with the heat, and even the overnight lows are going to remain very mild as well, as we'll only fall back down into the 70s. Nicole.
All right, Todd, thank you. We're keeping an eye on traffic on this Friday morning. This is I-65 at Whiteland Road, where you can see everything seems to be moving just fine. No delays or crashes to report as you head out the door in this area. After an 8-week delay, racing is returning to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 3 races will raise the green flag this weekend, but no fans will be in the stands. IndyCar kicks it off with the GMR Grand Prix tomorrow afternoon. The NASCAR Xfinity Series Pennzoil 150 is after that. Then on Sunday, the Brickyard 400 is scheduled for 4 p.m. When IndyCar driver Colton Herta takes to the track tomorrow, he'll also be raising awareness about hunger in our community. The Andretti Harding Steinbrenner Autosport driver will be behind the wheel of the number 88 Gleaners Food Bank of Indiana Honda. It's part of the No One Runs on Empty campaign that kicked off today at the Gleaners warehouse on the southwest side. The campaign will highlight the impact of food insecurity with a goal of providing 10 million meals to hungry Hoosiers and drive people to donate.
It's hard to believe this is in our backyard. I really didn't understand the enormity of how huge this facility is and what it does for our community. And we're just so very, very proud to be a part of it. And we want to thank Anthem for stepping up and helping make all this happen as well. It's for such a great cause. We are out here to make sure no one runs on empty.
Anthem will match all donations to the campaign dollar for dollar, up to $1 million to provide 10 million meals to Hoosiers in need. You can donate at gleaners.org. Still ahead, an officer in California took time to rescue ducklings stuck in a pool, and their mother stayed close by at all times. The adorable reunion coming up right after this break.
Hello, this is Sam.
The time now is 5:26. Here's a cute story on this Friday morning that you really have to see. An animal control officer rescued 7 ducklings right there and their mother from a California swimming pool. So he collected the babies in a container, and he knew the mom would stay close. So he walked a quarter mile with the ducklings to make sure that the mama duck waddled along with them as well. Once they made it to a nearby lake, he released the ducklings and reunited the entire family. Quite a sight there in California, of course. Here on Good Morning Indiana, we follow our leader, who is Todd Clausen. Hopefully you can lead us to some nice water or a cool drink on this hot weekend, Todd.
It is going to be hot, and if you want to see something cool outside right now, it's not the temperatures, but in the clear sky, if you look out your window or out your door from your front yard right now, you can see Jupiter and Saturn up there in the sky. Skies, though, starting to brighten now as you look from downtown to the north, and temperatures this morning will warm very, very quickly with mostly sunny skies, going from the 60s where we are right now already to 76 degrees by the time we get to 9 a.m. Should be into the mid-80s by the noon hour, with high temperatures today climbing all the way up into the low 90s. We'll talk more about your forecast and have your latest news headlines coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 5:27.
Indy Home Experts at theindychannel.com. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
The city of Indianapolis and Marion County are taking a big step towards slowing the spread of the coronavirus. And now at 5:30, we've got everything you need to know about the new mask requirement that goes into effect next week.
Plus, with the pandemic canceling many professional fireworks shows this holiday weekend, you may be planning your own light show in your own neighborhood. But this morning, we're live with tips on how to keep you and your family safe this 4th of July. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Friday, July the 3rd. I'm Rafael Sanchez, and this morning we are rolling out the red carpet for our good friend Nicole Griffin, who's filling in for Lauren Casey, who is hopefully sleeping in this morning. Nicole, so welcome to you. It's great to see you.
Thank you so much, Rafael. It's great to see you and our meteorologist Todd Clausen standing by. Todd, you're telling us this weekend is going to be so hot. So today sounds like a good pool day, I'm thinking,
I know you like a good pool day, Nicole, and it will be a great pool day with high temperatures that will be up in the 90s. So we'll deal with the hazy sunshine throughout the day, but this morning there's something pretty cool going on, and then there's something pretty cool up in the sky besides fireworks this weekend as well with the full moon. I want you to take a look at our tower camera, and that light that you see, that little bright light there, that is actually a Jupiter. And this more subtle light, that is Saturn. So about every 20 years, Jupiter and Saturn get very, very close, and they'll continue to get closer here throughout the course of the summer and into the fall and eventually the winter. And they'll be at their closest point on December 21st at this year. The closest they'll be since the 1600s. So pretty cool if you're into astronomy and stuff like that. Temperatures this morning are currently sitting in the 60s and 70s across the area. 69 in Indy, 65 in Bloomington, with skies that are mainly clear. And as we go throughout the weekend, the other celestial event is going to be the full moon that takes place tomorrow. And in conjunction with the full moon is also going to be a partial lunar eclipse. So if you don't have fireworks in your neighborhood, plenty to look up in the sky and see. Otherwise, hazy sunshine today, Nicole, and high temperatures up into the low 90s.
All right, Todd, looking forward to it. Thank you so much. We're keeping an eye on your morning commute. This is I-65 at Keystone Avenue, where you can see everything is moving up to speed in this area. No delays to report as you head out the door on this Friday. We start this morning with a story you are going to want to let your friends and family know about. Beginning July 9th, the Marion County Health Department will require people out in public to wear a mask. The new mask requirement applies to anyone age 3 and older unless a medical condition prevents you from wearing one. The executive order includes all retail and office buildings unless you are alone inside your office. If you're caught not wearing a mask, you could face a fine. We have this story for you to share right now on the WRTV 6 News app. On Wednesday, state health officials reported 453 new COVID-19 cases. So far, 46,387 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with the coronavirus. The State Department of Health also reports 13 new deaths. More than 2,400 Hoosiers have died from COVID-19 since the pandemic began.
Nicole, this morning, families, advocates, and lawmakers are applauding the state's decision to be more transparent about COVID-19 deaths in connection to nursing homes. And that includes the exact facilities where residents have died. Call 6 Investigates has been asking for weeks for this information, since April to be in fact. Our Kara Kendi even filed a formal complaint with the state's public access counselor, but officials denied the request. On Wednesday, the Holcomb administration had a change of heart. The state credited groups like AARP for the decision, saying earlier in the pandemic, the state was focused on testing and infection control within nursing homes. And people with loved ones in those facilities, they say they are relieved.
It's transparency that not only the families appreciate, but the communities where these nursing centers exist, I think really do deserve that kind of data. And I think Hoosiers are smart enough to realize that a nursing center with higher cases or deaths doesn't necessarily mean that that nursing center isn't up to par.
We can maybe learn from those facilities that have had a significant impact and what they're doing better now and what has helped. And so I hope that we can use this data to tell the story and learn from it.
So here's what you'll get in a couple of weeks. A searchable dashboard of nursing homes will be available later this summer. It will include deaths and cases dating back to March the 1st, as well as demographics. Call 6 Investigates Kara Kenny. She requested a one-on-one interview with Governor Holcomb to learn more about this decision. We're told that the governor was not available. We also reached out to the Indiana Healthcare Association, which represents nursing homes. And they told us in part, data reporting can be a burden, particularly in the middle of a pandemic and with brand new reporting tools. However, we know this is important for our residents, their families, and the public, and are committed to serving them. Nicole?
Raphael, it's 5:36, and those needing life-saving assistance in Marion County are having trouble getting through to 911 dispatchers.
It was just unacceptable that my son is being shot. I'm calling 911. I'm getting a recording.
Tiffany Coker says she was not able to talk to a dispatcher right away after someone shot her son last month. She reached out to RTV6 for answers, and working for you, here's what we learned. According to call logs, Tiffany waited on hold for 1 minute and 38 seconds before hanging up and calling again. She hung up again after waiting for 16 seconds. A dispatcher then called her back right away.
It's very disheartening that in, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday that I can't get the police, we'll get 911 on the phone. Like, what's going on that we can't get anyone?
Every day I go home at night and think about these type of calls that don't get through. And I want to apologize to her. That's very frustrating because there are emergencies come through, like this lady and her son. They had that was a life or death emergency, and her call should have been answered a lot sooner.
Major Michael Hubbs with the Marion County Sheriff's Office tells RTV6 abuse of the 911 system leads to delays. About 60% of calls are not true emergencies, but officials say there were several other factors in Tiffany's case. 911 calls were also coming in for 3 other emergencies at that time, and they admit her wait time was well above Marion County's average, which is currently 11.4 seconds. Leaders with the dispatch center say do not hang up if you call 911 and get a recording. Calls are answered and returned in the order they are received, so calling back ties up the system. Tiffany says luckily her son is okay.
The time now is 5:38 with widespread cancellation of fireworks shows throughout central Indiana. Fire officials are telling us that more and more people are buying their own fireworks to put on their own shows in their own neighborhood. So this morning there is a call for safety. Our Alyssa Donovan is live this morning with the Carmel Fire Department. And Alyssa, you're standing by with some great advice on this 4th of July weekend. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Raphael. And we're going to show you exactly what some of these fireworks can do if you're not careful. This is a mortar. This is one of the popular fireworks. I'm here with Tim Griffin from Carmel Fire Department. You're going to show us exactly what a mortar can do.
Yeah, I mean, these are so strong and powerful. I think we're going to showcase, and again, we're doing this in the safety of our training facility. We have fire engines available. I'm in fire equipment or gear. So, you know, this is not something you should do at home, but I want to showcase just how powerful these can be. Never hold them in your hand and light them. But, you know, every year we see, dangerous things happen with this, so we want to make sure that people are educated and understand. So I'm going to go light this.
Okay.
We'll kind of get in a safe area.
All right. And we're all going to step back so we're out of the way. And what he's going to do is he's going to light that near a watermelon. That's stimulating, a person's hand, body parts. So this is going to show us what these can really do. You can see that watermelon is just in pieces right now. So that just shows you the power of this. I mean, how many calls you guys go to regarding these?
It varies. Across the nation, we see obviously a lot. And this year we're fearful because without the shows to go to, we want people to make sure they're safe. We don't want to have a chance of them ending this 4th of July holiday in tragedy. You see what that can do to a watermelon. So if it was in your hand, or if the tube, if you're shooting mortars off and you don't have people at a safe distance, it falls over and aims at them, you don't want to have someone get burned or seriously injured. So you need to make sure you know what you're doing, or really maybe not do them this year and just go to those shows if they are available in your area.
All right, thank you so much, Tim. And we're going to have another demonstration coming up in the next half hour with these mortars to show you just how dangerous they can be. I'll send it back to you in the studio for now.
All right. Thank you there, Alyssa. Of course, yeah, be safe. You are setting those fireworks off on your own here. I've been hearing a lot of them across central Indiana at night when I go to sleep, all right outside. Right now, we are dealing with temperatures that are going to be in the 60s. We'll warm really, really quickly, though, throughout the day today, and we'll get up into the mid-80s already by 11 a.m., and high temperatures today will be topping off in the low 90s. So it'll be a great day for the pool, as Nicole mentioned earlier, as high temperatures will be climbing up into the low 90s. Make sure you drink plenty of water if you are at the pool as well. You don't want to become dehydrated. UV index is going to be very high, so make sure you also put on that sunscreen if you are going to be out and about. The time now is 5:41. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. We'll have plenty more weather for you for the rest of your holiday weekend, as well as news and traffic coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues.
This has been Medifax for Microband 24.
Army investigators have identified 2 suspects believed to be connected to the disappearance of Vanessa Guillen. The 20-year-old soldier was last seen April 22nd in a parking lot at Fort Hood, where she was based. In a news release, Army officials said one of the suspects was another Fort Hood soldier who died by suicide on Wednesday. The Texas Rangers have arrested the second suspect, who is a civilian. The Army says the civilian suspect is the estranged wife of a former Fort Hood soldier. Authorities have not released the suspects' names. Tuesday, investigators found human remains 20 miles away from the base, but have not yet made a positive identification. Guillen's family says they believe she was sexually harassed by the military suspect.
The time now is 5:45 here on Good Morning Indiana, and Home Depot is changing its rope sales practices after they found nooses were found hanging in one of its stores in North Carolina. It's the latest in a series of similar incidents at Home Depot stores in recent years. The company released this statement saying it is appalled by the incident. It has decided to sell shorter, pre-cut lengths of rope instead of rope wrapped on large spools.
Former 2012 Republican presidential candidate Herman Cain is receiving treatment for COVID-19. According to a statement released Thursday, Cain's symptoms were serious enough to require hospitalization, but he is not on a ventilator. Cain attended President Trump's June 20th rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He posted a photo of himself at the rally without a facial covering. And this week, he criticized mandatory mask requirements in a Twitter post. Cain's office says it's not known where he contracted the virus. They say he's traveled a lot recently, including to Arizona, where cases are spiking. As a cancer survivor, the 74-year-old is considered at an increased risk for the coronavirus. The coronavirus pandemic has canceled sporting events across the country and around the world, but it won't stop a 4th of July tradition in New York. The Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest plans to go forward, but with very different rules. The competition has been moved indoors to a secret location. A much smaller group of competitors will be seated 6 feet apart. Contestants and staff will be tested before the competition, and everyone will wear masks and gloves as much as they can. The first recorded hot dog eating contest was in 1972, and Nathan says the first unofficial contest was in 1916. And Todd, we know many people this weekend will likely be grilling out. The weather looks pretty good.
Yeah, you know, it's just going to be hot when you fire up the grill. But other than that, you'll have plenty of opportunity, whether you do it in the afternoon or for evening barbecues. Anything you want to do outdoors here this weekend, you will be a go for you. Just drink plenty of water as we're going to heat things up. Outside right now, you can see we're dealing with the sky starting to brighten on this July 3rd morning. Just a few fair weather clouds out there, and that is it. And temperature's not bad this morning. We're currently sitting in the 60s and 70s across the area. The humidity not that high this morning, so it's fairly comfortable. So if you're looking to get a workout in, I would definitely do it this morning compared to later on this afternoon when those temperatures climb up into the 90s. And here's how it breaks down for you hour by hour as we work our way throughout the day today. Look at that noontime temperature, already up to 86 degrees. So we warm really, really quickly. There's some humidity that will be around as we get up to 89 degrees by 2 p.m. and then high temperatures later on this afternoon should climb up into the low 90s, and that's why you need it to remain hydrated across the area. You can get dehydrated a lot quicker than you think, and especially if there's not a lot of humidity around, you can get dehydrated quicker than you think, as people also associate humidity with heat, and so we'll have the heat but not necessarily high humidity here throughout the day today. So there's a little more in the way of cloud cover this morning. We should be able to burn that off pretty quickly, and we'll have mostly sunny skies this morning. But back off to our west, you notice there are some storms near St. Louis, and then further off to the west, that's where the main storms should be throughout the day. But I do think throughout the day, you will notice at least a little more in the way of cloud cover today compared to yesterday, which isn't a bad thing because it'll help to filter the sunshine at times instead of having that bright blue sky and just consistent sunshine the entire time. As we look ahead to this weekend at IMS, obviously no fans in attendance, so you'll be watching these races if you choose to do so from the comforts of your living room. But for people at the track and the crews, Saturday IndyCar race kicks off at noon, 87 degrees, and then by the time the Xfinity NASCAR race goes, look for a temperature of 92 degrees. And then on Sunday for the Brickyard 400 NASCAR race, the temperature's up to 93 degrees for your high temperature. Just a small chance of an isolated storm in the forecast for the day tomorrow. I really wouldn't worry about it. And then as we go forward in the forecast, Tuesday is probably the best chance of seeing the scattered showers and storms across the area, but temperatures will stay in the 90s, Nicole, straight across the board.
All right, Todd, thank you. We're keeping an eye on your commute this morning. This is a live look outside at I-70 at County Road 700 West, where you can see traffic is moving just fine in this area. So if you're heading out the door on this Friday, you shouldn't have any delays to slow you down. Raphael.
So, Nicole, listen up. You and Amazon's CEO, Jeff Bezos, have a lot in common. You are rich in spirit. Jeff Bezos is just simply rich. In fact, he's the richest person in the world, setting now a new record worth nearly $172 billion. That's about $4 billion more than its previous high of 2018, according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. Now, Amazon has benefited from a huge increase in online shopping during the coronavirus pandemic, as brick and mortar stores either closed or faced long lines as lockdowns overtook the U.S. So remember, you are rich, Nicole, in spirit.
Well, thank you so much. When 21 Savage went double platinum with his hit single bank account, and now he's using his success to help teach kids about money. The rapper is launching a free online financial literacy program for youth through his foundation, Leading by Example. The program teaches students of all ages how to manage and earn money. Elementary students will learn the basic concepts of money management. Middle school students will learn about planning their financial future, and high school students will learn about budgeting and starting their own business.
So there's a new water coaster launching this season at Holiday World. I'm there already. I am there already in spirit as well, and you could be on that first ride as well. You have a chance to win tickets coming up right here on Good Morning Indiana in our next half hour.
Some select models.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Raphael, the coronavirus pandemic may have shut down Broadway for the rest of the year, but one of its most popular shows can now be enjoyed from the comfort of your own couch.
And I'm going to do that later this morning right here in my living room. The film version of Hamilton now streaming on Disney+. Douglas Hyde has more.
My name is Alexander Hamilton. There's a million things I haven't done.
Hamilton was an instant sensation when it opened on Broadway 5 years ago. Lin-Manuel Miranda's musical on the life of founding father Alexander Hamilton was a sold-out smash and won just about every award it was up for, including multiple Tonys and the Pulitzer Prize for Best Drama. A filmed 2016 Broadway performance with Miranda and the original cast debuts on Disney Plus this week. The action was shot from 6 different camera positions, plus some energetic editing gives the hip-hop flavored production a fresh, cinematic feel.
A toast to the groom, to the groom, to the groom.
The film combines the performances taped in front of the audience with separately shot close-ups and camera angles that put the viewer on the stage, giving them literally the best seat in the house.
2 Virginians and an immigrant walk into a room diametrically opposed.
Miranda and company had to scrub out a few 4-letter words to make it more family-friendly for Disney. But otherwise, Hamilton's music and message still packs its original punch.
All right, that's what I'm talking about.
In Hollywood, I'm Douglas Hyde.
Douglas, thank you so much. But listen, there is some bad news, Hamilton fans. Disney Plus is no longer offering free trials. So if you want to watch Hamilton, you have to sign up for one of the subscription packages that they're offering to see the hit musical on TV. It is a good day, though, to be by the AC watching TV or Todd Clawson. Maybe a splash in the pool because, as you've been telling us, it's going to be a hot one.
Yeah, you know, all of us can deal, Raphael, with a hot day here or there, but we're going to string a whole bunch of them together over the course of at least the next 7 to 10 days, and it's been hot really this entire week. So for those of you that suffer for some heat-related illnesses, you'll need to want to find some cooler places to go at times over the next couple days. This morning, it's not bad. We're in the 60s and 70s, but we're going up to a high today of 92 degrees with lots of hazy sunshine. The humidity is not super high, but you'll definitely notice it, I think, throughout the day, and that's going to take that high temperature of 92 and make it feel a little more like 100 degrees. We'll talk more about the rest of the holiday forecast coming up at the top of the hour at 6 o'clock when Good Morning Indiana continues.